everybody. Welcome to Wisdom Wednesday. This is Racquel Palmese. It's great to be with you in this moment of time. What a day, what a moment we're sharing right now as we transition in so many ways into a new year, into a new era in the United States, into a new way that is calling us, so obvious and apparent, of a new kind of thinking, a new kind of unity, and all that we have been wishing for and hoping for after a long year of hibernation and introspection and lots of watching ourselves go down different rabbit holes. Here we are. Vaccines are coming out. We have opportunities for clearing, for renewal, for healing, and for change. So I invite you to join me in taking some breaths, taking some clearing, beautiful breaths. Let's go. Let's see where the universe, where creation, where God, where spirit wishes to take us today. It's such a good feeling to be an emissary. I see little dots of rainbows on me. It feels so fitting. They're moving around. Okay, so be it. So let's take some breaths together as we form a field of energy, a container where we are sharing ourselves, opening our hearts, asking for guidance, for wisdom. Open your minds, open your hearts, open your life, open your spirit, and breathe. Yes, I invite all of it to come in and come through me. I invite you. Let's invite each other. The thing that occurred to me early as I awoke this morning, as the inauguration of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris was about to start, I felt a deep sense of gratitude. I could hear a collective exhale around the world at the opportunity of a new time, a new day, a new beginning, a more heart-centered approach that wouldn't have been as meaningful and actually probably wouldn't even exist that much if we hadn't been through a time of experiencing such conflict with each other. If we hadn't been through a time of darkness, of our closest friends suddenly feeling distant because of the way they fought and the things they were saying, of families being ripped apart by politics. If we hadn't experienced all that, experienced facing a pandemic in various aspects of denial, if we hadn't been through all that, we'd never ever appreciate coming out of it, of taking an opportunity to come into cooperation instead of conflict, into cooperation instead of conflict. Feel that need to be at war. Feel that need to access some really old anger and frustration, kind of ebbing away. There's nothing to hold on to about it. It serves no purpose. Better to get a punching bag and hang it in the garage and have at it once a day and release that energy. then take it out on life, on loved ones, on a beloved land. Better to come into a flow now of heart-centeredness. Let's fix that which needs fixing. Let's work together. Let's find our way back to each other, please. Having learned some big lessons. And one of the things that came in as I awoke this morning is such a sense of gratitude. Was that what is out of alignment a bit in all of us is our inner and our outer worlds. That a lot of us are hidden away, projecting something entirely different outwardly than we feel inwardly. And the transitioning to a life where these two parts of ourselves come together and form a whole, so that we are who we are and we are able to walk our talk, is so incredibly important right now. This is a healing that has to happen with each individual person of us. We can't hide behind a persona or a facade. We can't pretend that everything's okay when it's not. Nor can we stand on our haunches and spout things that don't match what our heart is trying to say. The one side of us cannot be in denial of the other side of us, or we become torn apart. We begin to question the very essence of life. We begin to doubt and have existential thoughts of hopelessness and despair. So real healing, as it needs to take place now, is to come back to ourselves. Come back. Be at peace. Let go of all that is working against the essential goodness of ourselves. This is what's being called in at this precious moment in time. This is an opportunity that we can either take, or we can pretend that we can just go back to some normal that, as I've said many times, does not exist anymore. We need to face into a different kind of future, a different kind of relation with self, with others, with our communities, our country, our world, our planet. And that relationship has to be based on what we really believe in our hearts, what we really know in our hearts. And that can only come through when we're not resting in a bunch of disparate thoughts that are pulling us here and pulling us there, and causing us to doubt everything possible and everything good. Goodness exists. It exists in such a larger way than anything negative, and yet we don't always notice it. We don't see it, just like that little rainbow dancing across my face. It's easy not to see the magic that's happening in every moment. The signs from Spirit trying to get our attention, trying to call us back home to ourselves. the inner and the outer, what we project, coming into alignment and into deep reflection of who we really are on the inside. To not be afraid to project our God self, to not feel it is weak to represent love. A very wise person said to me the other day, what would happen if, as much as people use the public forum to spew discontent, if they used it to talk about love, if they projected love as much and as loudly as people projected hate and discord, conflict and lies. And I think we saw that happen this morning. As our new president and vice president took their place and took their oaths of office. It's so easy to be cynical, to think that nothing will change, to think that they're all a bunch of users and phonies. Or we can step in, we can engage with our hearts and minds, the doingness, our actions, and we can support the dream of it. We can demand that the people that represent us speak from their hearts, that they be real with it, because we're willing to be real, because we are willing to be alive in the paradigm of our time, because we are willing to walk out of being victims of other people's power over us and come into alignment with knowing that as we empower our hearts, we are every bit as powerful as anyone who tries to lead us. There is nothing in the way except our own conflict with our own selves. So in this time, this opportunity, this moment, where we allow time to stand still for these few moments that we're together, take an assessment of our own willingness to become that which our heart calls us to be, to turn it outward, to let the healing take place between who we are on the inside and who we are on the outside. To have our belief systems match our true knowing. To give voice to the inner wisdom of ourselves, to allow ourselves to love fully, powerfully. Let nothing stop it. We don't have to weaponize anything if we have an open heart. It is more powerful than all the noise, all the tools of war, all the rhetoric, all the books espousing opinions, because real love, a real empowered heart, is directly connected to creation and to that force that created creation, created us. Call it what you will. It is in the hearts of every one of us. And if you look, if you're wishing, as I know you are, to start a time of real healing on the planet, including the planet, including all of us, a true new age, then first recognize that buried deep within the heart of every single one of us, even if we're miles apart in our thinking, there is a desire to love. How to get there is fraught with challenge. But if we each seek to access that in each other, we will ask questions instead of try to give answers. We will listen carefully. We will be curious. We will regain our innocence, our fun as friends and family. If we find that God essence that translates into a yes to life, to living life joyously, generously, sharing, receiving, helping, receiving help. This is what's being called in. So feel those parts of you that have been dissociated from each other coming together now. The inner, the outer, the spirit, the mind, converging, saying yes to each other. And I thank you for your willingness to look so deeply, to desire so much transformation on the planet. Much love to you all. See you next week.